Hello and welcome to the live Verellen What's New, What's Next event. I'm Sarah Richardson.
And I'm Jessica Pratt.
And
we're
we're
Verellen
Verellen
Atelier, natural, sustainable, bench-made pieces.
Manufactured in High Point, North Carolina. Up next in High Point, North Carolina, we have our live event, interview with designer Lisa Sherry.
Inside tour of the plant and Q&A.
Don't forget, we're in the NYDC building to see these beautiful pieces.
Reach out to us at nydc@varellen.biz and book an appointment today.
Enjoy!
Enjoy!
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us from our showroom here in High Point. I want to thank the ladies in New York and our atelier for hosting this event for What's New, What's Next. This is Made with Love in North Carolina. Today we have with us Tom Verellen. We have Paul Delez, our designer and creative director, myself, Brandon, over sales and business development. We have an advocate of ours, a designer, that we pre-recorded an interview with, and we're going to be showcasing her for a little while. Just to get to know her better and get to know her use of our brand. And then we're coming back for some question and answers with all of you. So please ask anything that's on your heart, and we want to hear from you, and we would love to engage. I don't know if you gentlemen have anything.
Welcome, all of you. This is our first live event, so we're super excited about it. It's a new day and age, and we're looking forward to many more. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. All right, we're going to go to Lisa Sherry, a wonderful friend and advocate and designer of ours. So this morning, we're with Lisa Sherry, and she's an interior designer who's now in Charlotte, moved down there from High Point. She's been in the business for many years, has a very distinct point of view. And we're here with her to hope and gain an understanding of her point of view, of her design experience, and then also us, Verellen, as a vendor, what it is that it draws her to us.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm excited to be here and talk with you guys about Varellen and the design world.
So this morning, I kind of wanted to start off with this little quote you have on your website, which I just love. And it says, "I'm not leading the life that was laid out for me, thankfully." And, you know, that really resonates with me. And it makes me pull into my earliest memories of the things that my parents may have wanted me to have done, or school or society, right? And I could have went many different ways, but I went another way. So tell me about the way that you were going to go, if there was a way, and where you're at now.
Gosh, growing up, you know, the world of design was not what it is now. So, you know, my mom was very creative and, you know, we lived in beautiful surroundings. So it was sort of innate for me, but my parents really only understood the world of, you know, doctor, lawyer, teacher, you know, the regular route of, you know, what a career should be. And I had mentioned one time about being interested in design, and she's like, "Oh, honey, that's just a hobby. That's not a career." So, you know, it was very interesting to me. You know, going off to college and then working in the advertising world, I fell into the world of set design and, you know, did fashion for 10 years and worked in New York and LA while I was living in Minneapolis, and then just kind of by a roundabout way landed in the world of design. There was one of the presidents and creative directors of one of the agencies that I worked with asked me to come to Virginia and build out a town with him. So we worked for several years, doing a bed and breakfast, doing a vineyard, and 23 little cottages that were part of a rental program, and then doing his personal house. Oh, and a restaurant also. But it was his personal house that really kicked off my career. He was connected with quite a few people in the New York area, and also was an avid entertainer. So when his parties connected me with some potential clients, that's kind of how I got my kickstart, and started off in the world of residential interior design.
That's amazing. So, I mean, I'm thinking about everything you just said, and it's like you pulled from so many different locations and places and cities and experiences and industries. So it really makes sense when I look at your spaces, how it's a culmination of that. Like I see a really great collection, like very curated collection in everything you do. The little town that you did, was that like your first experience in doing so many different things and practicing so many different disciplines at once?
It was, and it was also, I think, the most challenging thing after, having worked for, 15, 20 years in a 2D world where it was, print. I had to learn how to, make things functional and usable for clients and for guests, and just to look at things a little differently. So, there were a lot of challenges along the way. And I'm a self-taught designer. I didn't go to school for interior design, but I definitely had great teachers along the way, and many experiences where I've made a lot of mistakes. And you always learn from those. Yeah, it's great to fail because it means you're challenging yourself. And if you're challenging yourself, then you're, pushing yourself forward.
Okay, so we're getting into some human conversation here. And that's one of the things that I also like in my reading about you and just in the work and in your personality, knowing you personally. You've mentioned humanizing your spaces. And you just mentioned also having to take 2D to 3D and the challenge of making things functional. And so you no doubt take into consideration the lifestyle and the needs of your clients. And I would say your approach is kind of anthropological. You're learning their lifestyle and who they are as a person, rather than just, here's this Lisa Sherry banner. So how do you achieve those environments with a client? Are there like some initial interview and conversation with the client? Like, how do you take deep dives with them?
Yeah, great question. Well, I'm not a chameleon. I have a pretty clear direction on what I like. I think when I first started out, I had a broader, sense of what I could do for clients. And, I could do colored rooms, I could do traditional rooms. Coming from the background of set design, I had to be able to put any, period together, put anything together. But as I honed in on my business, I knew what I personally felt most comfortable with were calm, neutral interiors. And so once I honed in on that direction, then it was a matter of, finding people and clients that really wanted to achieve that same outcome. And so really, clients come to me for that look, which is really nice. I feel very fortunate for that.
Yeah, well, it's distinct. And I mean, I can pick up your spaces when I see editorial, but what I like is I see a lot of designers that maybe just rely on that one coffee table that they use in 20 different projects, or they rely on that one window treatment that's their signature. And yours, it's not generic like that. It's not, you don't rely on that. It's like your look is just it's so holistic.
I could make it so much easier if I did that. My life would be much simpler if I were to use things over and over again. But I like the challenge of, creating spaces that are unique to that particular client. I don't want my clients to, look at, maybe there's a project that I've had published or it's on my website and they're like, oh, I have that table and I have that same, this or that. I want them to feel individual to that client, how that client lives. And then there again, that's sort of the fun of what we do is, always being able to find those unique items and mix it up and have everything be a little bit different.
Truly providing a personalized service. I mean, that's really what it is. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you're going to, let's call it the proverbial drawing board, what do you find to be your single greatest inspiration or like your muse? Like what is there a thing? Is there a spirit of something? What is it that drives that creativity?
Oh gosh, I think I can't pick just one, right?
Yeah.
I have several. Travel is a big muse for me. I really am, I love to travel. I love to get out and see the world and see different things. And, I love big travel. I've been to Asia and inspired by, different cultures. And of course I love Europe and, I can never get tired of that. But, even as simple as, taking a weekend trip to the mountains or, spending time at the beach. Nature is also my muse because my interiors are inspired by nature. I love all the texture that nature provides and the color palette. And then of course, my mom has always been a big muse because she was my inspiration from the very beginning. The way we grew up, she taught us to use the good china on a daily basis and to create a beautiful space, and that, it wasn't about, who was coming over. It wasn't about entertaining. She always said, you're worth it. You're worth, you know, creating a beautiful home for yourself, even if no one else sees it. So I always appreciate that. And she's almost 92 now, and she's still redoing things in her house. And I've just always been inspired by her.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I've had the privilege of being to a couple soirees in the evening at your home.
Yes, you have.
When you were in High Point.
Uh-huh.
I always remember it would be so simple, but so lavish at the same time. And it was like, you might only be entertaining 4 or 5 people. And I mean, you're bringing out the Moroccan teaware, you're bringing out layers and layers of charcuterie, and you're bringing out, I mean, the drinks and the light eats and the food. It was like, I felt like I was in another world.
Oh, thank you, Brandon.
So I see that come out, and that inspiration, I guess, from your mother and using the fine china.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, it's more than just, creating a space. It's really a lifestyle that, I do it for myself, and then I want for my clients to experience that too. And people want that, but don't always know how to achieve that. It's more than just putting furniture in a space. It's lighting a candle and having the appropriate dishes that you entertain with, and just all the little details that are the holistic perspective.
Well, you certainly have mastery of that. So let's move on to your color palette. In dealing with your color palette, you've mentioned you using a lot of whites and grays and how they help you to see more. And I think that's really fascinating. I've thought a lot about that myself too. So could you talk about that for a bit?
I guess neutrals tune out the noise. For me, I assume that a lot of people feel like I do, when you work, and most people do now, and even if they don't, if they're stay-at-home moms or whatever, or stay-at-home dads, your lives are really busy, and it's really nice to be able to come home and have what I call the awe factor, where you walk in and you feel calm. And I think neutrals do that. I've seen so many beautiful rooms that are full of color. And I have such a deep appreciation for designers that can do that. For me, it's not my color palette. It's just not my wheelhouse. I just need to walk into a space and have it feel, beautifully edited and very calm. And the whites and the grays do that for me. And I'll inject, maybe gray down colors if certain clients are feeling like, they need a little blue, or they need a little, color in their life, but we do it in a way that's thoughtful and edited.
So I know you do use pops of color, and it's very specific when you do, and it's not overwhelming in any way. And do you have a determining factor when you're looking at a color to use that's popping out of that gray and white and neutral palette? Is there like something that really directs that specific color?
Sometimes it depends on the client. If there's a client who they have a specific color that they really like, hopefully it's not orange or lime green, although I've had that happen before. We sort of work through that and end up editing that out. It just feels a little too jarring for me personally. But I am drawn to blues, and I think, again, the blues feel like they come out of nature also, whether it's blue and water is healing. And so I do like blues. We were just working on a room the other day, and the client wanted our signature neutral whites and off whites, but then wanted to add a little blue somewhere. So we found a Moroccan rug that had some beautiful gray down blues, and she was thrilled. It just it kind of gave it that little bit of pop, but then everything else in the space is all neutral.
So you're obviously a fashionista. Anyone that knows you knows that. And you obviously were in fashion and photography. And in my questions here, I mentioned, my observations is you're always the best dressed in the room.
Oh, thank you, Brandon.
So how intertwined do you think your personal style for fashion is with the environments you create?
Oh gosh, I feel like it's everything. I mean, again, I started off in fashion and, worked as a stylist for 10 years, doing fashion before I did interior. So, one for me dictates the other. And I think that my own personal style is very classic and I add modern twists. So I feel like my interiors are the same. So for me, again, having an interest in fashion, loving fashion, but yet it's still very understated and classic. So therefore, that same philosophy rolls over into my interiors, which is the same, using classic pieces, keeping, things neutral, adding, pops of trendy things here and there. I definitely see them as, one and the same.
Yeah. Yeah, when I see you, I don't pinpoint you, your own fashion into a specific trend or era. You're touching on all just these classic, timeless elements, and I see that in your work as well.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's really about mixing high and low as well. I'll buy something, I'll buy a $600 pair of shoes, but then I might have a shirt from Target or from H&M or Zara, or and same with our interiors. It's really having the eye to see things more than it's about the price that you pay for something. But the quality pieces, elevate the less expensive pieces.
It's very well said. Very well said. So, do you personally think your work is really niche, or that it approaches like a broader audience, and you use such juxtaposed elements in your work, from very soft things to very textural, hard things, very dark, very light, a lot of contrasting elements? Maybe explain that a little bit and how it communicates to either a specific or a broad audience.
Right. Well, I don't want to be niche and I don't want to be broad. I guess I want to, how's that for an answer? I want to be somewhere in between. I think that, the bottom line is I want to connect with like-minded souls that like what I do. And I always want to keep myself challenged and look at every project and every client differently. And I hone in again on, the neutral interiors, but it's so, but yet that can be broad within what we do, and the range of what we can do is broad because every client is different, and because I'm not a cookie cutter designer where, I want to look at how the client lives and what their lifestyle is and how they need to feel in the space and how they need to live in the space and make it work for them. That's really important. But really at the end of the day, for me, it's about having interesting projects to work on. That's always my goal, is just, I feel so fortunate to be in this world of design, and that clients allow me to be able to come in. It's very personal, and to create spaces and homes for them. I'm very honored for that. And I want to do great work. That's really what it's all about at the end of the day. So if I'm not challenging myself to, see what's next and to, make it interesting, then I'm not really having fun with it.
I love how you said that it's such an honor to come into their homes. I think some designers in this industry are quite cavalier, but you strike me as someone who, it really is a humble honor to step into someone's really most intimate space.
It is, and they put a lot of trust in me to be able to create something that they are going to live with for a long time. So I take that very seriously.
All right, so Lisa, you recently moved down to Charlotte, which is a very cool city, and it's growing. I mean, last time I was down there, I think I counted 12 cranes in the sky. It's like, what is going on? But I see your townhouse in the background. It's beautiful. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the pieces and elements that are there.
Well, I have a lot of Verellen, which is, of course, my main upholstery line. We love working with you guys. I was very excited to move to Charlotte and found this great modern townhouse after living in a classic 1926 Georgian formal house for quite a number of years in High Point. It's always fun to find something that's a little different. So it's brand new, and it's very clean, and simple interior. The canvas is just very simple. And it was really fun for me to come in and juxtapose the space. I always feel like, you know, in my modern, or excuse me, in my Georgian house, I needed to make it more modern. And then because the bones of this are more modern, I chose to make it even more eclectic and maybe a few more classic pieces. But as you can see in the background, I have my beautiful gray velvet sofa and ottoman and a chaise that I live in, and hide on hair ottoman. It's just such a great little retreat for me.
That's awesome. I love the opportunity to see your own space. I mean, it's just, do you have ghost chairs around your dining table?
I do not have ghost chairs. I've got some 1970s vintage chairs around my dining table that I'm sitting in. But you know, my own space is always my creative lab, because I can make all the mistakes and have fun with, you know, trying things that I want to try for clients. So it's, you know, always a great opportunity to make mistakes at my own place, or to, you know, do things a little bit larger, so to speak, you know, when it's your own personal space.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love I see the reflection of the floating staircase. And it looks exactly as you described, warm and neutral, and it's calming. Like, I feel like I can inhale and exhale.
Yes. That's what I need the most, inhaling and exhaling.
We all do.
Well,
So it's no secret, you know, you mentioned it, you use Verellen upholstery in a lot of your projects. Are there specific factors that draw you to our brand?
there are many. Yeah, I think that, yeah, obviously the thing that I love most about Varellen is the partnership that I have. I like that it's not just a transaction; it's a true partnership, and I get to know the people like you that I'm working with. Varellen as a brand is a lifestyle to me, and I feel like you are aligned with the lifestyle that I'm trying to achieve for my clients. It's not just about, you know, the upholstery itself, although the quality is very important. Again, when I spec product for my clients, they're not necessarily seeing it in person or sitting in it. And so that trust that they put in me to make sure that the quality is there, that the comfort is there, I know 100% that I'm going to get that with Verellen, and that's extremely important. But an example of one time I did bring a client into the showroom, I think it was at Market, and for them just to be able to have that brand experience and to see what Verellen is about, people want to just move right in. And, you know, again, because I'm aligned with that organic, modern feeling, it's a great, you know, sales tool as well.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to be open now year round. You can come whenever.
I know. I love that. Very excited about that.
Are you really into a lot of custom work when it comes to the size of your furniture that you're placing? Are you really carving out specific dimensions, and is that something that you see that we can facilitate and other vendors facilitate very well for you?
We do some custom. It again, from project to project. I love that the customization is easy for you guys. Sometimes we might have a very tall client who you know, needs a certain depth or the back height, and you guys easily transition to you know, whatever our customization needs are, which is really important for us.
You obviously have a great career. I love your portfolio. I went and researched all the articles you're in. I think they're really well written about you. It seems like you really invigorate people when they're writing about you. And it seems like you even invigorate the lens of the photographers. Maybe you're hand selecting these photographers. I don't know, but they shoot your work really, really well. So where do you see the next 10 years of your practice going? Are you, do you think you're going to stay in residential? Do you see yourself exploring more and more into maybe high-end commercial? Do you see yourself going back to doing projects like that little town? I mean, are you just open to where the winds might blow?
I'm absolutely open to where the wind is blowing. I'm along for the ride. I feel like I'm just beginning. I feel like we're, getting these really juicy projects right now. And again, it's really, for me, I'm not looking to be a famous designer. I'm just looking to feed my soul and to work with clients that are aligned with the design beliefs that I believe in, and that want to create beautiful spaces. And wherever that takes me, I'm willing to go. It's really just a day at a time, but looking forward, it's always about the growth of new exciting projects, whatever size and whatever they are.
So Lisa, obviously 2020 has, I think, made people really think about their interiors more, their environments more. And I think really society as a whole is kind of changing the way we see the future. Where do you see design and the trade going in the next 10, 20 years?
That's a good question. For me, I love the unknown. And I think that there's been a big shift towards home right now with COVID. People are spending more time in their home. That's why, we as designers, we're extra busy right now. People are realizing that, they want to connect more with their home and make it a special place for them to live in. I think that, we're always evolving, just like fashion. It's a little slower, but it's cyclical. I think the Made in America is a strong trend. And I think that's what's great for Verellen, is that it's made locally and made in America.
All right, so kind of as a wrap up, I've always found you to be intuitive. I find you to be a good listener. I know we've had some really great conversations, and I've always appreciated it. So for those that are listening, do you have any words of advice or affirmation, maybe to design enthusiasts or to maybe even someone outside of the industry?
I'm just grateful to be able to do what I'm doing and to create beautiful spaces. And I think for those in the design world, be true to who you are. When I started in this business, like I mentioned before, I, was very broad stroke in the projects that I took on. And I think when my business became most successful, it was when I honed in on what I truly, lived and believed, and that's, people can feel that, so if you stay true to yourself and align what you want to achieve with your values, I think that's the best outcome.
Well, this was awesome. I mean, again, I didn't want it to be terribly long. I know that you're a busy woman, but it really helps me gain insight to one of our clients and also to a friend. So I really appreciate the time.
Oh, thanks. I was happy to be able to be a part of this. I love working with Verellen. I love working with you guys. So thank you.
All right, so that was Lisa Sherry with Lisa Sherry Interiors down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you, Lisa. And of course, thank all of our clients for being such faithful partners in the industry. Tom started this 20 years ago, and we've retained all of them since, and we just feel like we have a really great partnership and relationship with all of them. The video you could see was our plant and all of our beautiful people who work day in, day out to achieve something incredible. And we're really, really happy to show the Hudson, which we're sitting on now. We also have the Oakley, a beautiful lounge chair that we're introducing, and in the background, the Sullivan bed. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. I encourage you to ask questions. You can use the Q&A tab in the Zoom or the chat tab. I can have someone here read them to me. I can read them myself. I have some other questions that have already been emailed and texted to me that I'll be going through as well. Actually, here, you know what? I got a question for Paul off the bat.
Great. What is it?
All right, so here, let me do this. All right, so our first question to Paul. We love that there's always something new from Varellen each season. Sometimes a derivation on an existing frame, and sometimes something totally different. Where do you find your inspirations for new designs?
Well, inspiration can be found everywhere. It can be a dream, can be great dinner with exquisite tastes, can be great art exhibit. Anyway, anything that speaks to the senses can create shapes and lines. Foremost, I mean, what inspires me most is the work floor, where all designs are created and everything by hand. And it's the workflow that is most inspiring for me. I can share it easily with Tom, with the engineers, and that's where it all starts. That's where you have answers to particular problems, and that's where a piece really gets created.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one to Tom. Belgium to North Carolina seems like a big leap. Why did you make the decision to bring your company to the US and then to NC? What do you get here that you don't get in Europe?
As our old slogan used to be, Belgian conception, American perfection. So cut my teeth in textiles, moved to the US in the middle 90s. And then we founded and started this company together with my wife, Sabine, in fall of 99. Why North Carolina? North Carolina is pretty much the center of the universe as far as craftsmanship in our industry is concerned. A lot of people were going away and were moving overseas and trying to just chase the buck and try to do it cheaper and cheaper and just trying to just get the best product for the least amount of money. And I thought we would do the opposite. We wanted to create the best product with the best ingredients in there so that we could be second to nobody. And it took us a while, but I think we've come a long way. We got a long way to go, but it's been 20 years and it's been an amazing ride. And we don't rest on our laurels. We just always move forward, one foot in front of the next, and just try to do better tomorrow compared to what we produced yesterday. And it's all about the circle of friends, the circle of people we surround ourselves with, from Paul in design to Brandon in sales and business development to Melissa here behind the screens in marketing and media, Paul as well, to our packagers, our 8-way tires, our CFO, to it takes a village, and I think it's an amazing place to provide job opportunity, and people are willing to work and put their best foot forward. So that's why we chose North Carolina.
And sorry, we're passing the mic back and forth. We did have a little bit of technical difficulty earlier today. Couple more. As we all know, things are changing in COVID, so this question is spurred by that. What changes in High Point are you seeing happening in response to COVID? And in particular, an effort called HPXD. And is that an effort to spread out the visits to market, or was it in the works before the pandemic? I can kind of answer a little bit about that and then let Tom speak. A local individual in town has always had a heart to spread, I guess, the descending population on the city out throughout the year. And it's really apropos with what's going on with the pandemic. And we just saw an opportunity for some really cool showrooms that all have a story and a very strong brand to kind of come together. We could be considered competition, but we're really not. I think we each have something distinct to offer. And it really creates a mutual referral basis. We can also talk up our design clientele. We can network and provide really in the current climate, a safe place for people to come throughout the year instead of, 30, 40,000 all at once.
Well said, Brandon. So that individual, I just want to mention him by name, is one of our founding members. So it's John Muldoon. So Tom Van Dessel, John Muldoon, and myself started HPXD. The other reason why we did it is we wanted people to come to this town year round and just give them space and time to look at their convenience whenever it worked for them. So they're not fighting over space or a table or a seat or a piece of upholstery. You can come see us year round. You can, if you're hazmated up, we can take you to the plant just 5 miles from here and give you the private tour, see how it's made, see the people behind the screens. And so it's a perfect combo. So year round in this town, see it set up, see it made, and pretty much envision it like it should be shown at a brand ship showroom. And this is it. It's 6,000 feet of beautiful space. And then the factory is about 95,000 feet. So where you can see it made, and every piece built by hand. And that's why we want to show it year round. So there's no need to just come to market. The market is exciting, gives a lot of energy, but we started this HPXD about, I think, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and we're starting to get a lot of traction. We've had probably 15 to 20 groups already in that have flown in or driven in, and they just spend time, 3-4 hours at a time, and walk away with an order in hand and the blueprints all taken care of. And that's it. Thank you.
Paul, what's your favorite piece, and is it one that you designed?
My favorite Verellen piece is the newest one, always. It's going to be the next one too. Well, if we can show the Oakley chair, it's pretty amazing that any design can be dressed differently, and it shows so many different facets of a piece with different fabrics on it. So this one's ready for the evening, I believe. Then you have a morning piece as well, like the bed could be fuzzy and nice for the morning. Only afternoon. So yeah, so typically it would be, and it should be, the last piece. Yes.
It's a good answer. I like that. It's good to be confident in your designs. I think that that's what, I don't find that we're an arrogant brand at all, but I think that we're very confident to keep our head down and do what we do and believe we do it well and probably better than most. So I love that. Just keep pointing forward. Yeah. Regarding COVID, how do we feel that it's affecting our ability to show the line in the showroom or in New York? And really, has it had a bad effect on us? I know, in the showroom, we're obviously going to be taking some social distancing measures with masks, with all the cleaning standards, and with capacity inside. So please come. You're going to be very, very safe. But as far as COVID as a whole, I think we've seen business at an increase.
We have, and I think it's because people are staying home, as we all know. So our industry is definitely on the rise. The year looks like we're going to end at probably our best year ever. It's because people are spending time at home and realizing that they would like to upgrade and want to change and just substitute. And I think they want to have pieces that they really feel that could be a heirloom and be passed on generation to generation. So why then here, and what are we doing for COVID related? We have 6,000 feet in the showroom, so we can have a capacity of up to 75 people at any given time. No more, but that's plenty for us because we're a small, little, nimble brand. New York, we have about 2,000 feet, so do the math, divide by 3. So we're at about 25 people at any given time. But we even discourage that quantity. So we'll have maybe here in New York, in High Point, over the next 10 days, we'll have probably up to 30, 40 people at any given time. In New York, it's really by appointment only. So we're open there just 2-3 days a week, and it's by appointment. So we just do whatever it takes to make the customer feel safe.
A lot of people know that you show with different brands in your showroom in High Point and in New York. What is that about?
Well, it's typically, I would say that these brands, we always get the comments that they complement each other so well. People even think that we design together because it always jives, let's say. But I think for our customer, it's also it's great to see it all work together and one-stop shopping, I would say.
And we have one name for them, so we call them frienders. So the frienders are our vendors, our favorite vendors that show with us, and of course they've become our best friends. When you're a customer, you call a Varellenite. When you're a co-shower, you're a friender. So that's distinguished.
We love working with all the brands, and I think we each touch on our own level of hospitality here in our showroom. So it's a really great experience, and urge you to come by here and in New York. Question in here, are you experiencing more delays than normal from suppliers? Yeah, we've had some some things occur with components and other supplies coming in. I think the biggest impact was fabrics from Europe, just because of how hard Europe was hit.
The first 6 weeks.
Yeah, the first 6 weeks. But we're really coming back online full speed ahead. And I mean, consistently, our standard upholstery is 6 weeks out. Of course, custom, we're going to pad some things for some weeks for development and otherwise. But by and large, I mean, knock on wood, we have not been as affected as some other companies, and we're very thankful for that. Yeah, very fortunate. Let's see here. Oh, so for the showroom, are you guys doing virtual appointments throughout the year, and are you open throughout the year?
Yes, and I'll pass the torch back to Brandon in a second about that. Absolutely. Our girls are well trained at that. One of our favorite ones to do that really seems to get a kick out of it would be Hannah. She's super comfortable at that, has done it many times. Jessica does it as well and does it really well. Linda as well, but she likes it more behind the scenes. Brandon does it almost probably daily. So he'll send me a quick text. Hey, I'm shooting over to the showroom. Need to do virtual greeting or showing and introducing the new stuff, whatever it is. So we really enjoy it. So Brandon, I think you should elaborate on this one.
So we opened up for a pop-up event about 8 weeks ago, maybe 10 weeks ago, which we did not expect to do. We threw it together in a few weeks, and we had people coming from Seattle. We had people from California. We had people fly up from Florida and New York, which was great to have people in the showroom. But that week, I think we did almost 70 digital presentations, and it was only a 2-day show, but we were open for a few days thereafter. And it was really nice because you didn't have 100 people in the showroom. So it's kind of the silver lining of this pandemic, where I could spend really qualitative time with our clients in the showroom for an hour or two. It's not rushed. You can answer all the questions. I think this new platform of interaction and of sales is really just more beneficial for everybody.
Very joyous.
Yeah, really happy, really happy. Let me see. I do have a few things coming through. Excuse the pause. Can my customers find your product online? We would generally discourage it. We're not an e-com company. However, some of our distributors might have some of their own online business. We do require MAP pricing, but most of those offerings are very specific to that distributor, and they're not going to offer the customization and the depth of what we can produce, either working direct or with one of our boutiques. We have some boutique showrooms throughout the country. So if you're in certain regions, please reach out and we can direct you their way to spec product. Yeah.
And then since COVID, we actually launched what we call the Verellen Attic. So Verellen Attic is instant gratification. So your last minute shopping for a client, whether it's a mirror, whether it's a end table or sofa or chandelier, we have it. And it's been extremely popular. It's just taken us by surprise, and we're adding weekly to that. So every Friday we launch new items. We'll be launching many, many more as we get traction, and some of our friends will be starting to be on our attic as well. So it's grown in significance, and we get a kick out of it. We never thought we would be selling stock.
So we have someone asking if they can get a sneak peek of the showroom since we're in it, and this is the best peek you're going to get. Sorry about that. We're still preparing for market next week. Here's a question for Paul. Anything new in case goods, credenzas, consoles, or otherwise, or any plans in the future for that?
Always plans. We have some. We have a Demi-Lune Giacometti console that's behind me, or behind Brandon, actually.
Yeah.
We have that. 3 legs. Always, it's a very good table for us. Then we also have the new chair, what's it called? The Rowan chair, dining chair. Also gaining in success. A new coffee table that we're showing. Yeah. So, yeah, very excited.
Yeah. As an anecdote, when I go into Paul's office / studio, it's your typical creative design inspiration is strewn about everywhere. But one thing you see is he's constantly coming back and thinking of ways to make new, and that's a good thing. His brain's always turning, which is great for us. let's see here. Love the piece you're sitting on. Is it a sectional or manufactured as a sofa or both? Currently, it's a modular. Yeah, and I don't know if we have plans to produce a sofa line or not.
Actually, there's some other stuff in the pipeline that's going to be called Hudson. Not sure. Can I say it? Sure. We'll have a dining banquet also. So yeah, it's going to have the same back, different seating, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's people like the wraparound back, just like the new bed. So yeah, that's we'll go along that road a little bit longer.
Does this have a corner unit with it?
Not as of yet,
Not
but
as of
I'm
yet.
sure very soon. Yes, sectional.
Awesome. Awesome. You know what, Tom? I'm going to ask you the same. Which piece is your favorite?
The one we haven't made yet. No, it always is. I mean, we have plenty of favorites, and I'm really excited about our own stuff. I just sat in a corner of the showroom just before this interview, and we did a new color palette on walls, etc. And I go like, wow, we just elevated the experience again. So we challenge ourselves. We just don't want to make beautiful product. We really want to inspire all the enthusiasts, all the designers, all the retailers out there just to push it. I mean, push is our motto. So we just want to take it to the next level and just surprise people when they walk in. So the next piece is my favorite. There's plenty of them that I would take home today, aftermarket, if they happen not to be sold. But my favorite one is the next one.
Brandon, which one is your favorite?
My favorite is the Dustin mini chair, believe it or not.
Oh,
wow.
By the fireplace.
Yeah, the little fireplace chair. And that's probably number one. Number two is anything in the Sullivan collection. And that kind of brings us to the next question. When will we get to see the new products? So we actually have the Hudson, the Sullivan, and the Oakley just floored in New York a couple days ago, which is really exciting. So Sarah and Jessica will be able to show you the product there. And then here in the showroom, we're going to pan and show a few of the new product. Maybe we can even back up a little bit and see the Hudson in more of its glory. And then also the Oakley and the Sullivan. And if you have specific questions about these pieces, Paul can probably answer those.
And then officially in person starting Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and officially in person here in the showroom at the beginning of market on the 13th at 8 o'clock. And then those pieces are online now, Melissa, is that correct? Yep, they're online. You could begin specifying them. Oh yeah, we also have the loose stool back there, which the Pamplona leg was started in our case good collection, and we're moving it into more of an exposed wood direction. And Pamplona is really fun. That's probably third for me is the Pamplona coffee table. We have a comment, don't ever eliminate the Noella tall wingback. That is so special. That's awesome. I don't think we will we?
No,
Noella? No.
not now.
Not now.
My mom calls it the Barack and the Obama chair. Michelle and Barack chair.
See. Sorry, guys. I have these coming from multiple sources. Okay, so Tom, you might be able to answer this on behalf of Sabine. Tom's wife, Sabine, really is the heart and soul behind sourcing and selecting our fabrics. What is your process for selecting fabric to grade into the line? And how is it that you're able to choose when there's just so many great fabrics available?
I think it started with the partnership, as she would say, and then the values. So it's got to fit any of our brand values. We got 5 values that we're happy to share if you want us to, but you can find them probably online, Brandon. I think we got them posted already. But so it's a partnership. It's the mill. We got to feel good about the mill, the materials that they're using, where are they sourcing their yarns, what type of dyeing are they doing, And then how available and how flexible are they? So we've got people knocking our door on a weekly basis, but I would say probably 5% of them are getting in. They're all coming in, but we're not selecting most of them. We just want to find the right partner that's in it for the long haul, and we want to become significant for them. So I'm going to phrase, for example, one of our leather suppliers, Moore and Giles. These guys are smitten when they walk into the showroom, and they're honored to be here because that's what they aspire their product, their finished product to look like. And same with Libico, same with a couple of mills in Italy there, from Jacobo to some of the other guys. And we just, it's got to be fun. It's got to be feel like you just want to lounge on it and hang out, and it's got to just work beautifully with the environment. It's got to be timeless. Timeless is probably our biggest MO, I would say. You can all create beautiful, exotic, modern pieces, but unless you put a stunning fabric on it, it's just not, you're going to get bored with it. And our fabrics are so durable. They wear well. They become prettier as you live in it. And some of them are machine washable even. So just the best products possible, but where they're sourced, how they're made, how they're woven, and again, who's behind them. So that's how she picks it. I cut my teeth in textiles, but my wife definitely took it to the next level.
And I'll pass this back to you, Tom, because I think that you can touch on this probably better than anybody. Would you speak just a minute on what sustainability is to Verellen and maybe things that we're doing about it?
Yes. So I would first start out, it's a progression. So we first want to make a product that is probably biodegradable. It's got to be able to be passed on. It's got to have longevity. It's got to be made with either repurposed materials inside or reclaimed materials, organic materials, FSC grown wood, organic cottons, just eco-friendly products really inside. So it's a work in progress. It takes a while. It's an MO for Verellen, and we just want to make sure that whatever we decide to pass on is leaving the least toxic footprint out there. And we're not all the way there yet. It takes a while. It takes a village, and it takes a team. And we've just started finally. We're about to start a green team that is actually the sole purpose is just anything we do, anything we source, gotta be part of our brand values. So it's got to be a company, a product out there that truly believes in what we do and how we do it. So we can gradually become maybe the Patagonia of our industry. These are big boots to fill, but we really care. We really care, and we want to do better every day. And we've come a long way, but I feel we're only 20% along the route where we want to end up. So it's kind of vague what I'm answering. And of course, it's a long conversation, and we have quite a few things already in print about it, but we're really going to take it to the next level.
I think a lot of the accreditation that you could receive from different organizations is really more pay to play at times. And my observation is we've kind of gone even above and beyond with truly sustainable hardwood stands where our lumber comes from versus just a particular stamp that says, oh, you have a net zero impact. And I think all of us can look inside daily to see how we can help the environment and help really the earth that our children's children are going to inherit ultimately. So here's a question. A lot of my clients lately are insisting on performance fabrics. I get this question all the time, which I have difficulty finding options that are really lush. Are any of the Verellen fabrics considered performance? So when a fabric receives like a performance stamp, it's going through a certain sort of rigor of testing. However, there's a lot of fabrics that these companies don't even submit them to the performance testing. And really, it's a matter of education of the materials that are being used. Surprisingly enough, linen, hemp, bamboo, wool, cotton, extremely resilient if you're educated in how to care for them. We do source some fabrics that have great performance ratings. It's really a matter of connecting with your designer, with your local distributor, with New York, or with us to find out what those are. On our fabric list that's available online, we have our double rub counts. We have whether or not they're recommended for contract or not. And in those, yeah, there's things with higher pile and higher textures. So I hope that answers your question. Seeing my screen's flashing a bit. Oh yeah, we do have the Tough Stuff collection now too. Yeah. Okay, so Melissa's telling me that, yeah, our Tough Stuff collection, which is new, there's some cleanability and some resiliency and repellency and all that stuff in them. So, and I think they're like all sorts, right? You have flat wovens all the way up to really high piles and naps, right? So that's available.
Yeah, without being inundated with toxic materials.
Yeah, and that's really a tightrope for us, right? So we want healthy furniture. We want healthy furniture not only for the people that are sitting in it, but for the environment. So many of those performance fabrics have treatments that, you know, they're not even legal in the EU. They're not even legal in California. And it's for us, we offer a stain treatment as an option, but it's not something that we're actively putting into our line just from where we stand from an MO standpoint. No, we're not pushing it. Yeah, and I was just reminded from Melissa again that the ones that we have in our line that do have a stain repellent are eco-friendly, and they're not necessarily the carbon 6 chain that's supposedly not good for you. Let's see here. Oh, are there other showrooms other than the New York Atelier? Yeah, we have trade showrooms, absolutely, that show our line. We have showrooms that are a little bit of a hybrid where they're doing their own design work, maybe a tiny bit of retail, but the majority of their work is selling to the trade. And so they're a great representation, I think, of us. And we have those in anywhere from Florida to California to Seattle. You can look on our retail locator. You can reach out to me direct, Brandon at Verellen.biz, to CSR@Verellen.biz and ask these questions. And we can certainly link you up with where to find showrooms. Yeah, and 2 more internationally. We have one in Tokyo and we have one in Belgium. So in Antwerp. And we may be getting one in Mexico City here in a few months, which I'm super excited about. So. Ole. I'm not seeing anything popping up rapidly right now. I don't know if we have any final statements. I could speak a little bit on High Point Market next week. We are going to be open 13th to the 21st, 9 days. But the way the High Point Market Authority is doing it's a little different. So a certain region's coming for the first 3 days, the next region of the country, the middle 3 days, and the last region of the country, the last 3 days. So population should be spread out well. We are not having as many showrooms open as normal. Normally there's a little over 2,000. What are we at now? 12?
I think 70% as we speak.
70% as we speak. So I don't see all of them opening. Okay, about 1,400. We are getting appointments, but people aren't, foaming at the mouth like they would be normally, and everybody just descending on our showroom. So we feel it's going to be really safe and spread out and have some really good interaction with people. And then New York, of course, you can reach out to them. And they're open Tuesday and Wednesday and really other days of the week by appointment. Their sentiment is they're there to serve the client. So if you reach out and make an appointment, they will be there for you. Paul, you have anything else to say?
Look forward to seeing everybody next week. Yeah, we'll be ready.
You ready?
Thank you again, all of you. Pleasure was ours. We're looking forward to see all of you either in New York or here, Belgium or Tokyo, or all of our agent showrooms around the nation. So all the new product is actually the product we introduced is already being shipping because we introduced it at a pre-market just about 2-3 weeks ago, and the first orders are going out already. And the samples you're looking at were pretty much sold already, so they're just here for this event, but we'll be replacing them with even more evening wear collections. Right, Paul? So thank you again. Pleasure was ours. To be continued.
To be continued.
Thank you, Brandon.